I am currently in Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville, Kentucky. If you see right over my shoulder, there is the grave of Colonel Sanders. Now, I have visited the grave of Colonel Sanders before. You can find that on my channel, but that is not the reason for my visit today. I have actually failed twice looking for the grave that we are looking for today, and it is a little strange and it is an odd story. We're looking for the grave of Pretty Polly. Pretty Polly is the only animal buried in Cave Hill Cemetery. So we are here today looking for the grave of Pretty Polly. Come with me. On the way there, I will tell the story of Pretty Polly and why we are here today in Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville, Kentucky. I know on my channel, I can't speak for every channel, but most of the ones that I watch, we don't really document too much the failures of our channel. It's always, we find the grave, bring those to you, show you the grave. And in my channel, I tell a little bit about the history of the person or the location. But I have failed, like I said, twice in this. And, you all didn't get to see the failures. So I'm hoping today, as we go find the grave of Pretty Polly, that it is a successful day. This story has kind of mesmerized me from the beginning. The first time I heard it, I'm going back to the beginning of my channel. Probably, I would say maybe 3 years ago was the first time I tried to find the grave of Pretty Polly. I brought Angel, my wife, back, Miss Whitdox, as I call her on here. I would say probably maybe 6 months ago. We looked again, Louisville, Kentucky. Even though I am in Kentucky, that's where I'm from, that's where I live, don't get to make it to Louisville too much. It's about 3 hours from where I live, so it's a little bit of a process and a journey to get here. But I am hoping that today is the day we find the grave of Pretty Polly, the only animal buried here. And the story is pretty neat, so I hope you all enjoy it as we go. I've been in the section many times of where the burial is of Pretty Polly the Parrot. And the thing is, this stone is supposedly really, really small, not very big at all. And I just keep missing it. I can't find it. The section is pretty large, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. But let's go find the grave of Pretty Polly. I'll tell you the story on the way. So I am in section P of Cave Hill Cemetery here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I have spent a lot of time going through this section trying to find this DC par lot and little tombstone of Pretty Polly. Now, I have researched, me and Angel both have, about this DC par. Well, we decided to cross-reference because we found a record of someone visiting here that said Pretty Polly, the little tombstone, is in section P, right behind the par lot. Well, I won't say I've read every tombstone in this section, but with how massive the par lot is supposed to be, I feel like I would have seen it. So we went back to the drawing board and cross-referenced with the records of Cave Hill Cemetery. They have a wonderful website and a little app that you can get as well. Well, we looked up DC par, no DC par here. Well, we just looked up the name Par. Found the name Daniel G. Parr. Daniel G. Parr is not in section P, he's in section A. So what we are going to do now, and I wanted to show you all some of this section P because I have actually spent a lot of time going through here, finding graves, looking for the Parr lot. It's just not here. So I wanted to show you all what section P looked like, what I've been looking for the past 3 years. I don't get to make it to Louisville too often, but just about every time I'm here, well, the last time I was here, we definitely tried to find it. And I've tried to find it on, some occasions before that. But DC Par does not exist. DG Par does, over in section P. I'm sorry, over in section A. We are in P, definitely not here. We're going to head to section A right now to see if we can find the grave of D.G. Parr, Daniel G. Parr, and hopefully the little monument, the little tombstone behind of Pretty Polly the Parrot. But this is a beautiful walk, a beautiful view. If you've never been to Cave Hill, come check it out. All kinds of beautiful architecture, old graves, famous graves, whatever you are looking for. So let's go over to section A. Let's see if we can finally make my journey complete and find the grave of Pretty Polly. So I am standing at the grave of D.G. Parr. I can totally see how the previous records that I had found, we'll call it a C. It does look like a C, but it is indeed D.G. Parr. And when we were able to find the actual last name Parr and attach it to Daniel, being Daniel G and not Daniel C, it led us finally to Pretty Polly. So I want you all to know, anyone in Cave Hill Cemetery looking for Pretty Polly, there is an online record that shows section P. We are most definitely in section A. I'm going to get you a closer look at the grave and the monument of D.G. Parr, which is very neat. There are contents on there about his safe deposit box and even some about his last will and testament. And it is said that Pretty Polly was a pet of someone in the family. I don't know if it was Daniel himself, Daniel Parr, not sure, but we're here, and this has to be, as far as actual markers and monuments and tombstones, if you will, this has to be about the smallest I've ever seen this thing. It's probably not even a foot tall. It's going to look bigger on camera and on this video, but I'm telling you, it is very small. But my search, my nearly 3-year search, has come to finally to a happy conclusion. I want to thank Angel and all of you for watching this. I'm going to show you more of the grave here, but we have found the little tombstone. It's hard to read now. You can definitely tell it's fading. I can make it out. I'm thinking in a few more years, maybe you won't be able to, but let's go look at the grave of Pretty Polly. We found it. You know, it's funny, for years I have looked for the grave of D.C. Parr. D.C. Parr did not exist, but D.G. Parr did. Daniel G. Parr. Again, I'm going to mention this. I don't know if Pretty Polly was property of someone in the Parr family. The story that I have come up with and the one that I have read says that Pretty Polly was. And if you look at the size of the monument and how nice this family plot is, you know, there's probably some wealth there. So, you know, if you had a pet such as a little parrot that meant a lot to you, why not? You know, why not make the tombstone there? Marmaduke is the last name on this stone. That same last name actually appeared on the Parr family monument, so I'm sure it's someone in the family. And here we are, finally, the little small tombstone. And I'm going to get a little closer here just a little bit later in the video, but Pretty Polly, that's simply all it says on that stone. It's hard to make it out. The weather and time is just about made that nothing but a memory. But Pretty Polly, definitely the name on that small little stone. We are out here in the blaring sun, and Pretty Polly's stone is right there. Let's get a little bit closer, but I wish you all could see. I'm going to try to pan around here and show you this massive Parr monument behind me. And you can see, I mean, it goes way on up there, and just this little tiny, the only animal buried in Cave Hill Cemetery that we know of, Pretty Polly the Parrot. I'm so happy to be able to see this finally. Cave Hill Cemetery, what can you say about it? I have done several videos from this location, and I plan to just keep coming here. And when I started doing cemetery tours and filming back around June of 2019, Pretty Polly was one of the tombstones and one of the graves that I had heard about. And on more than one occasion, you know, I was here looking for the grave. I know, like I said, it was definitely this year sometime, we spent a lot of time. Turns out we were looking for the D.C. Parr monument that simply did not exist. Once we found that it was actually D.G. Parr, it was actually relatively easy to find. But if you're using some of those same resources and, you know, just simple internet searches like we were, yeah, it comes up with the wrong information. It says Section P. It is Section A. In Section A, it's not too hard to locate the Parr monument. And again, The story that is told is that this parrot was a beloved member of someone in the Parr family, and if you're wealthy, you want to do something like that, why not? Cave Hill Cemetery, a lot of history, famous graves here, as well as just a lot of Kentucky history and even national history. One of the women who is credited with writing the song Happy Birthday to You is buried here. Colonel Sanders is here. Muhammad Ali is here. The Frito-Lay magician Harry Collins is buried here. Just a lot of wonderful stories. And I want to show you a little bit closer here on this Parr monument. And again, I have mentioned that a whole lot throughout this video, and simply the reason being, this is a pivotal way, as far as importance goes, to find the grave of Pretty Polly the Parrot. I would love to know the story. Unfortunately, most of the story is now passed through word of mouth, and I'm sure the true story is definitely lost to time. But a wonderful piece of Americana, a wonderful piece of Kentucky history. Thank you all for watching. If you like cemetery videos or videos like this, please like, subscribe, and join me on our journeys. I love bringing you with me, and I love having you, my Whit Dogs family, along when I go on these visits. Once again, from Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville, Kentucky, I will see you again soon. Ba-ba-da-ba.